After the Indian and Chinese armies disengaged last week in eastern Ladakh, the line of actual control has settled into a calm at this time. And in those days, India Today becomes the first journalistic crew to get access to the line of actual control to show you where the dragon tamers are practicing for any eventuality. The pullback doesn't mean rest. It doesn't mean the luxury of sitting and relaxing. It means the time to practice for whatever may lie ahead. Welcome to Battlefield Nyoma, home to India's advanced landing ground overlooking Chinese-controlled territory. Just 25 kilometers away from the line of actual control in Ladakh. India Today, the only channel taking stock of India's war readiness of our brave forces at this super high altitude.
In the special operation display at the Nyoma ALG, 25 km from the China border, Mi-78 helicopter is showing the Garud commandos slithering from the helicopter. This is the first time you will see these operations on India Today.
Garud Special Forces of the Indian Air Force are carrying out special operations drills using Apache attack helicopters, Chinook transport helicopters, and Mi-17s. Nyoma, sitting very close to the LAC, holds super importance in India's strategic planning. The Chinooks play a crucial role, moving men and war machines super quick right to the front lines. The Apaches are considered the best when it comes to mountain warfare. And the C-130J Super Hercules transports are performing precision low-level flying, airdrops and landing.
India Today is showing you exclusive operation of the C-130 special operation aircraft on the Nyoma ALG. The Air Force has been showcasing its firepower on the China border for last 1 year against China. The preparations show how advanced capabilities of Indian Air Force to create high altitude location like the border area.
Mobile air traffic control systems have also been deployed to monitor every movement of China at an altitude of over 14,000 feet. This is the world's highest air traffic control at this advanced landing ground of the Air Force.
It bridges the critical gap between Leh airfield and LAC, enabling quick movement of men and material in eastern Ladakh, which overcomes terrain friction that will further help in quicker access to the heights and sustenance operations thereafter.
The Indian Air Force's jewel in the crown, Rafales and Sukhoi 30s, can also be seen flying from this advanced landing ground in Nyoma.
The fighters have been operating regularly in this area earlier as well. The positioning of fighter aircraft would be governed by the operational requirements in future.
The Indian Army has already deployed its mainstay T-90 Bhishma main battle tanks and BMP infantry vehicles here in Nyoma.
Now we will tell you the firepower of the T-90 Bhishma tank. The T-90 Bhishma is a very capable tank. It can cruise the 500 km and can strike targets at the 5 km with its missile.
The most modern tanks in service with the Indian ground forces. These tanks are simulating a possible assault across the line of actual control if the need ever arises. India is leaving nothing to chance to guard these frontline areas. A never-ending vigil by the bravest of soldiers and officers and the most sophisticated war machines at these icy heights.
Despite the disengagement, the Indian Army has not lowered its guard on the LAC. From the forward bases in Nyoma, the tanks and BMP can reach the LAC on no time to tackle the Chinese threat. From the preparation of the LAC, it's clear that Indian Army is fully ready. With cameraman Jaiswal, this is Nyoma.
Now, after the 12th round of talks, the Chinese have pulled back from the simmering friction point of Gogra, where Indian and Chinese troops were just meters apart from each other. But the Chinese can never really be taken at face value, and our army knows that very well. They're building specially fabricated shelters that can withstand extreme temperatures because they know deep down that deployment here might become a long-time measure. India Today's Manjeet Negi visited Ground Zero on the Chushul axis south of the Pangong Lake in Ladakh to bring you this exclusive ground report.
The world's biggest military standoff. "12 rounds of military talks between India and China later, Ladakh slowly seeing the return of line of actual control sanctity. After Pangong So, both sides mutually pull back from the friction point of the Gogra post. But the dragon cannot be taken at face value, and the Indian Army knows it very well. India Today is the only channel which visited the Chushul axis near the line of actual control to take stock of the recent disengagement and the army's preparedness.
Despite the disengagement, both sides continue to maintain heavy presence in the area. The Indian Army has not shown any let-up to its preparation for troops, shelter or equipment with modern weapons.
It isn't just China, but the weather is also a big enemy for troops here. The Indian Army is preparing for the long haul, make no mistake, building modern fabricated shelters for troops in forward areas. These special shelters can accommodate 1 lakh soldiers whenever required.
तेज बर्फीली हवाओं और सर्द मौसम से निपटने के लिए जवानों के लिए इस तरह के खास तरह के शेल्टर तैयार किए जा रहे हैं और पिछले 1 साल के दौरान ऐसे 1 लाख से ज़्यादा जवानों के लिए रहने के लिए 13,000 से लेकर 16-17,000 फीट की ऊंचाई इस पूरे लद्दाख के अलग-अलग इलाकों में जहां हमारे जवान तैनात हैं उनके लिए इस तरह के खास शेल्टर तैयार किए जा रहे हैं.
Made of iron, steel, wood and a special fabricated material, such shelters can be built within a week and can withstand chilly winds and extreme temperatures that are typical of this area.
चीन सरहद पर मौसम और दुश्मन की चुनौती से निपटने के लिए भारतीय सेना के जवानों के लिए इस तरह के खास इंतजाम किए जा रहे हैं. ये केबिन बनाए जा रहे हैं जो 0 से नीचे के तापमान में जवानों की मदद करते हैं. यहाँ पर 16 जवानों के रहने के इंतजाम किए गए हैं. डबल बेड लगाए गए हैं. स्लीपिंग बैग यहाँ पर रखे गए हैं. इसके साथ ही हीटिंग की भी इसमें व्यवस्था की गई है. जब तेज हवाएं चलें पिछले 1 साल के दौरान ऐसे हजारों एक तरह से शेल्टर तैयार किए गए हैं जो आधुनिक सुविधाओं से लैस हैं.
The army has also received modern war machines. American-made Sig Sauer assault rifles have boosted the army's firepower on the front lines. These assault rifles fire 600 bullets within a minute.
716 असॉल्ट राइफल है जो अमेरिका की बनी हुई है और हाल ही में भारतीय सेना में शामिल की गई है. इसकी मारक क्षमता की बात करें तो ये नज़दीकी लड़ाई के लिए बहुत बेहतर हथियार है. इसमें जो जवान है उसको आसानी से 6 पोजीशन पर एडजस्ट कर सकता है. इस तरह से इसको एडजस्ट किया जा सकता है. और इसकी अगर इसमें राउंड की बात करें तो 20 राउंड की इसमें मैगजीन लगाई जा सकती है. इस तरह से
And it isn't just rifles. Soldiers are also equipped with rocket launchers and automatic grenade launchers.
अगर ऊंचे पहाड़ी इलाकों में दुश्मन से मुकाबले की बात करें तो जो रॉकेट लॉन्चर है उसकी मदद से कैसे किसी बंकर को नेस्तनाबूद किया जा सकता है, ये यहाँ पर 1000 मीटर के आसपास अगर दुश्मन मौजूद है उसको निशाना बनाया जा सकता है। इसी तरह से ऑटोमेटिक जो ग्रेनेड लॉन्चर है, इसकी मारक क्षमता की हम बात करें तो 1700 इसकी मारक क्षमता है और ये भी दुश्मन के किसी भी ठिकाने को पूरी तरह से बर्बाद कर सकता है।
The Chinese army too has beefed up its military infrastructure on the other side. Despite disengagement from Pangong So, Galwan and now the Gogra post, friction remains in the hot springs area and separately in Depsang and Demchok, which are longer standing issues. With Manjeet Negi in Ladakh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Last year, the southern bank of the Pangong Lake was the biggest friction point between Indian and Chinese troops. However, after disengagement, troops of both India and China have moved back to their permanent bases. The Pangong Lake is now buzzing again with tourists. Take a look. Manjeet brings us more.
साल 2020 में यही पेंगोंग झील भारत और चीन के बीच में तनाव का सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा बनी। उसके बाद गलवान की खूनी भिड़ंत हुई और दोनों सेनाएं आमने सामने खड़ी हो गई। 50,000 से ज्यादा सैनिक दोनों तरफ से तैनात हो गए। लेकिन उसके बाद दोनों सेनाओं के बीच में पेंगोंग से सेनाओं की वापसी हुई और अब गोगरा से भी दोनों सेनाएं पीछे हट रही हैं। लेकिन इस पूरे इलाके में भारतीय सेना की तैनाती को देखकर समझा जा सकता है कि भारत फिलहाल चीन पर पूरी तरह से भरोसा नहीं कर सकता। इस वक्त पेंगोंग के इलाके में अगर हम देखें तो यहाँ पर एक बार फिर से जो पर्यटक है उसके लिए झील को खोला गया है और यहाँ पर रौनक लौट कर वापस आ गई है। लेकिन जिस तरह से चीन का रुख रहा है इस पूरे इलाके में भारत लगातार सजग है। मंजीत नेगी, पेंगोंग, आज तक।
And all of this is happening in the backdrop of fresh propaganda videos of the Galwan clash of June 2020 that have once again inadvertently exposed China's duplicity on that clash. Here's a detailed report on that 45-second video that shows how the Chinese side pelted stones from heights on Indian troops. And remember, this was last year. This year, they're pulling back. "45 seconds of video footage, the latest propaganda installment from China on 2020's Galwan clash in Ladakh. A video positioned to project Chinese bravery in the face of Indian aggression in the Galwan Valley. But once again, the images reveal much more than the Chinese government perhaps intended. It opens with Indian soldiers dismantling a Chinese observation post which had violated the line of actual control in June last year. But in the very next sequence, for just 2 seconds, a dead giveaway. Chinese soldiers seen stone pelting from up one of the slopes. Pushed back by the Indian Army team, the propaganda video then shows PLA troops struggling in the freezing Galwan River. And then, in the final flourish, a sequence capturing PLA troops being washed away by the Galwan River. But in the background, an earth-moving bulldozer, a confirmation that China was manipulating the path of the river to gain an advantage. The propaganda clip is an intended emotional backdrop to an interview with the family of Wang Zhuoran, one of the men China has acknowledged died in the clash. The propaganda video comes just 2 days after India and China held their 12th round of talks on the Ladakh standoff. Troop pullbacks have already happened at Galwan and the Pangong Lake. The two sides formally committed to expeditious troop pullback now from the Gogra post friction point. But China has maintained a very rigid stance on Depsang in North Ladakh. There is skepticism on China's intentions, since there has been little or no forward movement in the friction areas along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh since disengagement in Pangong in February this year. With India today also reporting that China has strengthened its positions in the depth areas away from the front lines, a long autumn and winter loom ahead. With the standoff showing no signs of winding down in any real manner, and with the new Galwan video, it's clear that the mind games and propaganda won't be winding down either. Bureau Report, India Today.